So I registered the domain name Mondo Bytes about 2 or 3 years ago, and I just been procrastinating on building this website. Now the good people over at Wix wanted to partner with me to do a video on how to build a website, so I thought it would be a great opportunity not only to build my website, but also show some of you guys out there who are interested in building your own website. Maybe some of you guys are professionals, or maybe you just don't know how to build a website, and this is actually a very easy way to do it. So I'm gonna get off my butt and actually start to do this and show you my website and kind of get everything going. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you want to go and do is head on over to Wix.com. Now it's very simple, free to sign up. You don't have to do anything. So all you need to do is click on create your website. Now it's going to ask you a couple of questions. So we're going to start off with what kind of website do I want to create? So I'm not sure yet. I know I want to build a site. The idea was to build a site to show you guys additional stuff from video. So what you see on video is one thing, but also wanted to kind of extend that. So an example would be if I take pictures of a smartphone and show a gallery of additional pictures that I've taken. So that would be an idea. Also, this is going to be a 2-part series because I do want to build an e-commerce website. So there will be a 2-part series. So I want to focus on a static website first, then we'll go into the e-commerce second. So make sure to stick around and I'll leave a link down below to part 2. So again, I'm not sure what kind of website I want right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and click on other. Now there's 2 types of ways you can create a website. One is using their ADI system, which is their artificial design intelligence system. Basically, you plug in information, it's smart enough to kind of give you a template style website so that you can go ahead and edit it. And then there's another way where you just use their editor and you basically almost start from scratch. Now, if you use the editor, you kind of want an idea of how your website is going to look. But because I don't know right now how I want it to look, I'm gonna go ahead and start with their ADI system. Now we will transition from their ADI to their editor, and I'll show you guys that in a second. Now, what type of website do I wanna create? So I know I want a tech site, so we're gonna go ahead and type in tech. Now I do wanna do a couple of blog posts from time to time, so I'll go ahead and do a tech blog website, and then go ahead and click on next. Now, what does my website need to do in terms of features? So I definitely want to sell stuff online because sometimes I have a bunch of phones that I just no longer use. So why not pass on these deals to you guys? Also, I want you guys to check frequently to see some of these awesome deals that I have. And rather than me posting it on Twitter, rather than me posting it on social networks, just come to my website. So I definitely want to sell online. So go ahead and check that if that's something that you want to do. Now, do I want to have any bookings and appointments? So this would be good for somebody who, like, for example, is a doctor, a dentist, or let's say you cut hair, you want to take appointments. So this would be one where you would check mark in case for something like me, I don't need to do this. So I'm gonna go ahead and not do that. I definitely want to get subscribers. So I'm gonna go ahead and check that, click on next. And now it's going to try and build this website, but it needs to know the name of this website and what it wants to do. So first thing is Mondo Bytes. And like I said, I registered this domain about 2 years ago. So go ahead and click on next. And then where's my business located? Now I do have a studio and I do have a physical address, but this is not a place where people are gonna be coming in. In other words, I'm not gonna be selling clothes, or again, I'm not a dentist or anything like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and skip this section, but if it's something where you need to have, or if you have a brick and mortar place, definitely add your information in there. Now I do have a logo. I did this a couple of years ago. So gonna go ahead and upload that logo. Very easy to do, just find it on your hard drive, upload it, and pretty much it. Enter your email address if you want to obviously have a contact form. This is useful to do now. You don't have to do it now, you can also do it later. Same thing with address, I'm not gonna enter that now, or a phone number because I don't need that. Nobody's gonna be calling me. Now I do have social media, so go ahead and plug in all of your information here. So in my case, I'm gonna start with my Twitter handle. So I went ahead and added all of my social media links. Now I'm gonna go ahead and click on next. It's gonna start to process this information and basically build our home page. So now that we've given that information, there's different types of styles or taste that you could select. So for example, we have Agile, Army, Black Ice, Bold. I kind of want a bold website, so I'm gonna start with bold. Now we can change this later, so what you pick now not necessarily means that you're going to have to stick with it. So don't worry, we just wanna see what that looks like. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on create my home page, and honestly, it looks pretty good. I can see already a couple of changes that I would do, but nonetheless, I think it looks pretty good. So we'll start off with the top area. So I can go in here and click on design and change it. So I'm not really happy with Mondo Bytes being below. I kind of want it above. So I want to go ahead and click on that, and then it'll automatically change it. So remember, we're still in that ADI editor, okay? Also, my logo it has a couple of dark font, so I need something like a white background, so I definitely need to change that, but we'll touch on that in a little bit later. I'm gonna go ahead and change the design here of this middle section. It looks cool, but I think it could look a little bit better. So, I kind of like this one here. I like this style better. Yeah, that looks cool. I like it. Now, I don't know, this bold seems a little bit too out there. I want something a little bit cleaner. So let's go ahead and exit here and go back to site design. Now, when I click on site design, it's gonna open up a whole bunch of other new designs, like stuff that we didn't see before, like breeze, classic, clean. Now remember, I wanted a clean look, so I'm gonna go ahead and click on clean and see what comes up, and it populates. Whoa, I can already start seeing the little changes. I like this a lot better. This is more of my style. I like the clean look. Very cool, and I actually like how everything looks. Now you can actually click on preview and see a preview of your website on how it's going to look. So you can do that just to kind of see if it fits your style. So I like that. I can see a couple things that I already want to change, but so far it's looking pretty good. Now, if you want to also look at this on the way it would look on a mobile phone, there's a little button right here that has a little mobile phone, and you can go ahead and click on that. So I'll exit here first, and then what I'll do is I'll click on preview and then click on the little phone. Oops, that's not, oh, there it goes. And this is the way my website is going to look on a mobile phone, which is not bad. Okay, this is just again, it's just a reference. So let's go ahead and exit out of here and go back into the editor. So there's a couple changes I want to do. Number one, I already have a logo, but I see that Mondo Bytes is in there twice. So I want to go ahead and get rid of one of them. So we'll get rid of the business name. So automatically, once I get rid of that, it'll just stick with Mondo Bytes. Let's go ahead and browse below here. So here's the blog side of it. Remember, I do want to post things from time to time. Sometimes I have these crazy ideas or just post it. I want to, rather than do a video on it, I'd rather just post it online, and you guys can go ahead and check it out. So I like this, but I feel like it could look a little bit better. So I went ahead and clicked on design. Now I kind of like this design or this layout better. So I went ahead and just clicked on it, and I can already see that I'm liking this because the pictures are a lot bigger. So at the top here, it says, is the expensive screen replacement worth it? So this is just like filler text. We're gonna go ahead and edit that and add our own post on here. So this is just to kind of give you an idea, sort of like a wireframe of what your website can look like, okay? So I'm really digging the site design and all of the different types of elements. So now that we have the overall like layout done, we can just get into the editing side of things, which is gonna get a lot more fun. So just click on site, or hover your mouse over and then click on go to editor. Now it's gonna tell you, like, once you go to the editor, you can't go back to that like ADI system, and that's fine. We don't necessarily need that because we have our baseline done. This is where it gets fun and interesting because we start adding elements, we start to take away things that we don't like. For example, if you don't like specific colors, or if you wanna add other elements to your site design. So this is it. This is almost like a Word document, and it's a WYSIWYG editor. So what you see is what you get. You can move things around. So for example, this picture here, if I don't like its position, let's say I want it on the left-hand side, I can go ahead and just drag it over. As you can see, all of these elements are grouped together. So if I want to just take this image, I can just move it this way. Oops, I double clicked on it. Sorry about that. There we go. So I can just move that, and then it'll actually overlay over the text, which looks pretty good, but I'm gonna go ahead and undo that twice. I like that better. So here's one thing. Let's start from the top. I don't like the way my logo looks. I feel like it could look a little bit better. So I double clicked on it, and I'm gonna stretch it just a little bit right where the white ends, because I feel like right there looks perfect. Now this is a high-res PNG file, so it's gonna look great. Like there it is, Mondo Bytes. Now it's cutting off a little bit, so let's go ahead and stretch it out a little bit more. So there we go. I kind of like that better. A couple of little tweaks here and there, but I like the way my logo looks. Now this little strip back here, I'm not too much of a fan of that, so I'm gonna change the color of it. Now there's different types of backgrounds, there's pre-made backgrounds, and some of these are like dynamic. So for example, if I click on this one here, and I'll go ahead and show you in the preview window once I do preview, it's sort of animated, I guess you can say. So it doesn't look bad, but it's not my cup of tea, but just kind of telling you what you can really do. So I'm gonna go ahead and go back to the editor. Now I can pick a solid color, or I can go ahead and change the strip to something like, I don't know, let's see if I can find something here that looks pretty good. Oh, I kind of like this. That looks pretty good. I'm kind of digging this style a little bit more. So just for the sake of this demo, I'll definitely change it, but I'm gonna go ahead and leave it there just because it looks pretty cool, okay? And you can upload your own images, which is probably what I'm gonna end up doing later. Now, let's go ahead and move to the phone number here. I don't have a phone number, so I could just go ahead and delete that element and it's gone. Now, right now I have home, I have shop, but I wanna add an additional page. Remember, I want this site to be fun. A lot of times people ask me, Armando, what type of gear do you use? You know how easy it's gonna be now, so I can send them over to my website, send them the link to that gear page, and just be done with it without having to explain it every single time. And I can update this easily, okay? So all I need to do is just double click here onto the menu, and then click on change a menu, okay? So now it's showing me home, shop. Remember, shop is our e-commerce side, which is gonna be something that I'll talk more about it in part 2. So if I click on shop, you'll see that it shows my shopping cart page, okay? And again, I don't wanna touch too much on this because that's gonna be more on part 2. I do wanna create a gear page. So all I do is click on add page, and it's gonna ask me, do I wanna add a page? Do I wanna add a link to my menu? A menu header? In this case, we wanna add a page. So now, what is the name of this page? Very simple, my gear, okay? And done. So you can see now I have home, I have my gear, and then I have shop. But what if I want shop to come first instead of my gear? Very easy. I can rearrange this by just dragging and dropping. Simple as that. I kind of wish these type of tools were available to me 10 years ago when I was building websites. So now this is it. Now I want shop to come first. Now if I click on my gear page, all I have to do, if I want to edit my gear page, all I have to do is click on that. It's empty. It's an empty canvas, and I can start adding elements to it. And I'll show you guys how to do that. So let's go back home because we're still working on the home page, okay? So now that I have my shop, my gear, and I'll eventually start adding more, like for example, like phone reviews and a couple of other things in there as I progress. Let's go ahead and change this picture. I didn't take this picture and I don't necessarily want it here. So there's a couple things I can do. I can double click on it. Actually, before I do that, I want to show you. Now from here, I can go into settings and I can add, for example, if somebody clicks on this picture, I can add a link so it can take them somewhere else. I can also change or add a filter to it. So let's say, for example, I start to add this like 3D filter. Kind of looks interesting. If I add this darken filter, that looks pretty cool, right? Or I can go ahead and just change it to something that I shot, okay? So here's that little link too, if you want. You could do it this way also. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on change image. Now it's very easy. You can upload your images from your computer. You can also use your own social images, so from Facebook, Instagram. So you can connect your account and take those pictures from your social networks. You can use some free Wix stock photos if you want to do that, or big stock images. So let's go ahead and do my images, and I'm going to go ahead and upload one of my pictures. So over here I have an images, and let's go ahead and do gear. So here's a picture of me. I figured I would put it front and center, and I'm going to upload that very quickly, and I'm just going to click on done and choose image. So it's going to replace that image with the one I just uploaded. And I must say, I like the way it looks because it's a picture of me doing my thing or getting into the zone. Now, welcome to Mondo Bytes. What if I don't want that text there? I can easily delete it. So I can go ahead and just hit delete and add something else. Or I can go ahead and undo that and just double click on that and then change where it says edit text. Oops, edit text. And I can go ahead and just add like, let's get started, right? I think that sounds a little bit more fun. Let's get started. All right, now here at the bottom, it's like all the latest. So I can change this, I can add elements. So how do you add an element? What is an element? Well, if you go to the plus sign over here where it says add, you'll see that I can add text. So if I wanted to add more text to this particular bottom piece, I can go ahead and do that. I can add different images. Let's say I want another images. I want a gallery. I want a slideshow. If I want to add a button, I can add a button that says, you know, check out my gear page or something, and then I can link them to my gear page. There's so much I can do. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the site, because I don't necessarily want to add an element up here. Maybe I want to add it somewhere else. So let's take a look. I like the blog. I like where it's at. I don't want to change anything there. Recent posts, I like that. I don't really care to have a subscribe page. So I'm going to take this element out, and then there's a contact form down here. I don't really care. So after the blog, so you visit this, what do I want to have? I want to add an element. So let's see. Let's take a look. How about a social element? Now I can add a bar, like for example, all these social networks that I participate in, so you can share it. But I'm thinking like an Instagram feed would be pretty cool. So let's go ahead and find one. Here it is, Instagram feed. So I'm gonna go ahead and click on that, and then I'm gonna go ahead and click on add to site. Now, because I'm already logged in, it's already gonna know that it's gonna be my Instagram page when I change it. Because right now, this is not my Instagram page. The way you do it is you go into settings, and then you connect your Instagram. But as I said, because I'm already connected to my computer, it should automatically do it. And just like that, as I told you, done. Very easy. Now I want to change, or I want to make this a little bit closer to the blog. So there it goes. And it has this little snap feature. So as you can see, it kind of snaps it into place so that everything is aligned. But there's something missing. Like I feel like it could look a little bit better. So I can resize this. I can make this way, and it'll automatically resize the images if I make it a little bit smaller. So if I do this, you'll notice that it got a little bit smaller, but I like that bold look. I'm gonna keep it large. I do like that. Let's go into settings though and see what other things that we can do with it. So let's go ahead and click on layout, and then images per row. I think that's what's missing. I want to add more images. So I'm gonna go ahead and slide it over to 4. Yep. I think that looks a lot better. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave it like that because I'm really digging this. So we have, let's start from the top. We have let's get started, and I'll eventually fill this out and, you know, make it look cool. We have the blog side of things, okay? Now the blog, not to confuse you guys, but it's very easy to add and manage your posts. All you do is click on it, and if I go to manage posts, it'll take me to the blog side of things. So here's all the different posts. I can delete them. I can create a new post. Very easy to do. And I'll touch on that in a second, but I wanted to tell you that so you don't freak out, because you're gonna be like, wait, I don't know who these blog posts and how do I get rid of them? So we'll get there. Now down here, we have the Instagram part of it, which I like. Now I want to add something else. I want to add my YouTube stuff. So let's go ahead and click on video. We're adding a new element. This is video, and I want to do a classic video player with like a playlist. Okay. I want you to pay attention to this. You see how it's overlapping my Instagram feed? That's not cool, right? Easy, check this out. And pay attention to the footer too. As I drag this down, the footer automatically moves down. Look at this, whoop. How cool is that? So we're gonna kind of get a little bit closer, and we need to make this wider to match our Instagram feed. So that's looking a lot better. There's a problem though, this is not my work. Obviously, this is all done for reference. So we need to change that. So all we need to do is click on settings, very easy, and then just go ahead and hit save changes, ignore that. And then we're going to add a channel. Now I've already added a channel, and I've already added a playlist of all of my behind the scenes, because I want somebody, when they visit my website, I don't necessarily want them to see the YouTube stuff. I want them to see the behind the scenes, because this is more of my personal stuff, okay? So I went ahead and clicked on that, and this is my behind the scenes. This is cool. I'm already digging this, okay? There's a couple things I do want to change though. Let's go ahead and go into the layout. Actually, let's go to settings. I don't want to show the channel title, so I want to get rid of that, because I already have it here, Armando Ferreira, that's my name. So I want to get rid of that. Share my channels, that's a little share link right here. I do want to keep that because I want people to share it. I don't want to show my channel info because I don't feel like it's relevant. And then there's a sign-in page or sign-in for YouTube. I don't want to have that either. So I think it looks a lot cleaner. And then below here, there's like a little search for video. I want to get rid of that. I want to, again, tighten things up, get rid of that. And there we go. I think that looks a lot nicer. I think I'm just going to leave it there. Actually, watch now. To me, it looks kind of boring. I'm going to go ahead and change that. So we'll go into design, and then there's a button here. Let's go ahead and change the color. I think just changing the color is going to make a big difference. That's pretty cool, but I kind of want something more bold, red, or we can even go and add our own color, our own hex code. So I want more of this like pure red. There we go. I like that. But there's one more thing I want to do. I feel like we can like spaz it up a little bit more. Let's go ahead and do rounded corners. Boom. There it goes. Looking very nice. I'm gonna go ahead and just close this up and preview the website, see what it looks like, because I'm really digging it. So let's go ahead and start from the top. Okay, so we got Mondo Bytes, filmmaker, editor, gear nerd. I definitely need to change that because you don't really see it with that busy background. But again, this is just for the demo. I have my navigation bar, my social links, which I do like, and the little shopping cart button in case you want to buy something from the site. Let's get started. I got my picture here, and we'll eventually fill that up. The blog posts are underneath that, so immediately when I come up with a new blog, you will see it there front and center. As you scroll down below all of that, you see all of my Instagram stuff, which is cool, and then my YouTube stuff for those of you that are new to this website. I like it. Looks very cool. Let's go ahead and jump back to the editor. So how do you add a blog, or how do you manage it? So as I said earlier, all you do is click on this, manage post, or if you want to add a new post, you can go ahead and just click on add new post, as I did. Very easy. Add an engaging title. I mean, this is walking you through every step of the way. What's the title of this video? So let's go ahead and do new website, okay? Which is talking about this website, okay? Who is the author name? Well, Armando. And the reason why there's authors is because you can give access to people, like for example, Carlos. Maybe Carlos wants to add a couple of blog posts in here and he can, get credit for his work, of course. And then start writing your post here. So I can start writing like, hi, or welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to my new website. Obviously, I'm gonna write a lot more than that. And then from here, I can add a video, I can add a gallery, I can add an image. Now, if I wanna come back later here and start to edit because I'm running, I need to do something else, I can save as a draft, which I will do that now. Now, if I'm a web developer by trade, I know how to build websites. There's also an HTML tab and I can dive into the code and start doing stuff, which is pretty neat. I can also schedule posts. So if I want this to go live at a particular time, I can do that. I can also feature it. So I can have featured posts. I can add a section to my website for featured posts. I can add tags. This is really good for SEO. There's even an advanced SEO section, which allows you to do other things, which is something I'm not going to dive too much into, but like you can change the permalink, which is something important. Basically, it's like the site structure. For example, mondobytes.com/iPhone 8. So this is going to rank a lot higher because it has that structure. And there's again, other stuff like the meta description, the excerpt and stuff like that. So this is not an SEO type video, but you can do that. And if you want to categorize different posts, so for example, I can add a category called phone reviews. So all my phone reviews would be on that category. I can have another category called a camera gear or camera reviews and stuff like that. So you can create your own categories. Very easy to do. And whenever you're ready to publish, you can publish it. Or as I said earlier, you can schedule the post. So hopefully this was a pretty easy tutorial on how to get started. Everything is very easy to do. All you need to do is drag and drop, change things around. If you've ever messed around with Word, I mean, this is pretty much as easy as it gets. Now go ahead and stick around for part 2, which I will leave a link down below. I'm gonna show you guys how to do the shopping cart side. That is a whole different animal. It's pretty easy to do, by the way. It's nothing complicated, but that's why I wanted to separate this into 2 parts, because I feel if you're looking to build a website, this is a great start, but if you're looking to build an e-commerce site, there's a couple of additional steps that you need to take. So guys, if you have any questions, leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching and stick around for part 2.